On this very terrible tragedy, and we promised during that time that we would provide regular updates on everything that we were doing here as a city in Grays Ferry. Now, Managing Director Adam Teal, our Fire Commissioner Thompson, Deputy Managing Director Morales, they are going to brief you shortly and provide some additional details regarding this tragedy. But it's important for me to walk through what we accomplished yesterday and where we moved to today, and we want to empower the tool of transparency and ensure that the people of Philadelphia know. So at approximately 2:17 p.m., a portion of a parking garage under construction collapsed here in Grays Ferry. The 911 calls came in, and members of the fire department squad 47 right across the street from the garage, Philadelphia, I want you to know that they responded immediately. One individual was rescued from the scene and was transported to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where they unfortunately were pronounced deceased yesterday. 2 individuals remain missing and are presumed deceased. Our appropriate city agencies and staff have notified their families, and we remain in communication with them, and I'm going to say more about that shortly. But right now, Philadelphia, it's important for us to affirm together in a manner that's fitting for each of us to send our prayers with the families who have been impacted, the family of the individual who is passed, and also the families of the 2 people who are presumed deceased. I want you to know for the record that they are all members of the Ironworkers Local 401 and our Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades, and we stand resolutely with every member of the Local 401 family and the Philadelphia Building Trades during this very difficult time. On the scene around the clock has consistently been Local 401's leader, Kevin Boyle, and the leader of our Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades, their business manager, Ryan Boyer. We want you to know that we indeed grieve their loss tonight, and we will continue to stand by shoulder to shoulder to support those families that have been directly impacted. I want to ask all of Philadelphia to please say a prayer tonight for these 3 individuals and their families. You're going to hear a lot more from Fire Commissioner Thompson and our other public safety leaders on everything that we've done since this incident occurred to safely search for life, to monitor the potential for further collapse, and most importantly, to determine the best strategy moving forward. And this has been an around-the-clock operation, some of which you may have seen here on the ground, but a whole lot that you have not seen that has occurred in many locations across our city. At 9:20 p.m. last night, our unified command and staff, they were called to our command post here to discuss this dynamic situation and a new objective, which was to safely search for life and to bring this structure down. It was, you need to know, that decision-making point was unanimously approved by our unified incident commanders. Today, at 2 p.m. Multiple search dogs entered the structure to search for any signs of life. And I know Commissioner Thompson is going to go into more detail specifically about what we mean. I want you to know that no signs of life were identified by the 4 highly trained dogs. This was a pivotal point in this incident, and we now had the intelligence that was essential and necessary to support our shifting from rescue to recovery. Fire Commissioner Thompson and some of our other leaders, when they give their remarks, they will tell you about how transient that process was. But lastly, I want to say something about the human dimension of this tragedy. Our city agencies are reaching out and are in touch with the families of the deceased individual, as well as the 2 lost souls who are, again, still unaccounted for but presumed deceased. Our city prays for them and with their families tonight.
Our team will remove any additional hazards. You can see they're putting a lot of protection in place for critical infrastructure. There are numerous arteries of critical infrastructure running underneath Gray's Ferry. All of that needs to be protected for the operation to advance. We have a very large crane that needs to be assembled by other cranes. You can see some of that equipment around here. That is a multiple-hour event under the best of conditions. We will continue to do air monitoring and structural stability monitoring. From noon to 8 p.m., we expect to conduct final approval of the operational plan with all of our construction and intergovernmental partners. As we've gone along in developing this, planning, not plans, continues to be a very dynamic incident. We have multiple partners here bringing their perspectives and points of views. I have to say our teams have done an amazing job, our commissioners and the leadership of our mayor. Our mayor has been engaged in this event since the first minute. Once that final approval is complete and everybody agrees, we will begin deconstruction using the crane while we continue to do monitoring, and we expect that this will remain a very complex and extremely dangerous incident. Fortunately, our Philadelphia Fire Department technical rescue specialists are among the best in the business. Our Pennsylvania Task Force 1 is one of only 28 FEMA-certified cooperative urban search and rescue teams in the nation, and Commissioner Thompson is going to talk about that. These folks literally have national experience doing exactly this type of work. And here's the most important thing. We, all of us, everybody you see here, and all of the hundreds of people working still now, we will not stop until everyone is returned to their loved ones with dignity, respect, and honor. The same dignity and respect that we offer to our own fallen members.
I am Jeffrey Thompson, Fire Commissioner. Yesterday, when this tragic event occurred, members of Squad 47, which are a block away, responded immediately when they heard the sound of that structure collapsing. Without regard for their own safety, they entered that garage knowing that it was already compromised. And by doing that, they were able to pull to safety one person that was in the garage. We did all that we could to give that person the best chance that we could. Unfortunately, once they arrived at the hospital, they did not survive, but we did all that we could to give them the best chance that we could. We then notified other companies. We had other agencies and companies respond, and members on the ground realized how dangerous that structure was, and they immediately backed out, as they are trained to do. From that moment on, we had to devise a strategy that was safe so that we could search that building to ensure that anyone who was in there, we could get out safely. From the beginning, our goal was to conduct a search and rescue mission. And as we did that, we brought together people from multi-disciplines to form a unified command. We had engineers, we had firefighters, we had law enforcement, we had a multitude of people that made great decisions over the last 2 days to work on this incident. Our initial decision was that we would deconstruct the garage, get it to a point where we can send in our technical rescue specialist, where they could then search, and if there were any victims, that we could bring them to safety. As was stated earlier, the Philadelphia Fire Department is home to some of the best firefighters and technical rescue specialists in the country. Many of the firefighters that work at Engine 47 are members of PA Task Force 1. As was stated earlier, there are 28 task forces in the entire country. 8 are in California. Philadelphia is home to 1. So we had the right people at the right time doing the work. As we formulated our strategy, we began to bring in other resources to ensure that we could get that done. And we worked throughout the night. We had engineers on scene all night. They had lasers, transits to monitor the building for movement. And unfortunately, they did detect severe movement, which was an indicator that this building was severely unstable and could collapse at any moment. When I got that information, I spoke with the team, and we had to think about a different strategy. The engineers on the ground no longer wanted us to utilize a strategy of deconstructing the building because the building was so unstable. That strategy required us to put a crane very close to the building, and the crane operator would then be in the collapse zone, and we did not want to put anyone else in harm's way. So, because we wanted to ensure that if there was anyone that was alive underneath those collapsed stairs, we wanted to do all that we could to ensure that we could operate safely and effectively. So we brought in additional engineers because we wanted a second opinion. So we had multiple engineers on location from multiple entities, and they all surveyed the building, and they came to the same conclusion that that building was too unstable to conduct the initial operation that we wanted to, which is to deconstruct. So with that in mind, the engineers offered a different strategy, and that was to use what they term a wrecking ball approach. Now, even with that, the way it sounds, it is not what it actually is. It would still be a controlled demolition. So, knowing that we were going to shift gears, we wanted to do everything we could to make sure that we gave people that may be trapped a chance. So we used our technology that we used earlier. We flew our drones again. We used our robots, the PPD's robots, the fire department robots, so we could get close to really get eyes on to see if there was any life that was in there. And finally, we were able to bring in 4 canines that are all federally certified. 2 of the canines are what we call live find canines, and 2 were what we call human remain detection canines. And what we did is we took the live find canines and we ran them through the building first, independent of one another. Neither dog got a hit. That indicated to us that they did not find a live person in that rubble. We next ran the human detection canine, the human remains detection canines through the building, both independent of one another, and they both hit independently. So we were confident that what we were dealing with was no longer a rescue, but a recovery. So we shifted strategy at that point, and we all agreed as a unified command that we would take down the building with the ladder strategy that the engineers came up with. We did a lot of work in preparation for that. We had to prepare the site, as the managing director said, protecting critical infrastructure. We had to bring in the equipment. The crane arrived on location a couple of hours ago. It's going to take some time for that to be put together and put into service. So tomorrow, the objective is that we will begin the process of bringing down that damaged parking garage. We will bring it down to a level that will then allow our technical rescue specialists to safely enter and go through those collapsed stairs. And we will, in an extremely dignified manner, remove any remains that we may find. We appreciate the support that we have been given the entire time, and I can't say enough about the team that came together to accomplish this. We could not do this alone. So it is our hope, it is our goal to safely bring this tragic, unfortunate incident to a conclusion tomorrow. Thank you.
Now going to hear from First Deputy Stanford, who will talk to us about the public safety element in this area.
Good evening. As we discussed last night, this area will continue to be secured by the Philadelphia Police Department. We'll continue to work with our partners in making sure that the area is cordoned off and remains safe for the public, as well as remains safe for those that are doing the work. With that being said, again, the message remains the same as it was last night. Please continue to stay away from this area. Everything will be blocked off from 29th Street to 33rd Street, all the way along Grays Ferry Avenue. The shopping plaza here will continue to be closed. Our personnel from the police department have been working with building management, property management, and the various stores that are here, informing them that they cannot continue to open tomorrow as well, and that process will continue to go for a few days until this area is deemed safe enough to allow the public to begin to return. But that's a process that we will continue to work with the store and the management here, and ensuring that we do that as quickly as possible. But again, with keeping in mind that safety is the number one priority for everyone. But again, the message remains the same. Please, stay away from the area. Allow the members of the fire department and the construction teams that will be here to do the work that they need to do without any type of interruption or disruption from people trying to get into the area. Thank you.
Turn it over to Solicitor Garcia.
Thank you for the question, and good evening. I want to be clear that nobody knows what happened here. There are many agencies, local, state, and federal, that are conducting investigations because now is the best time to preserve all evidence. We don't want to come into some facts later on and not be able to recreate what happened. So out of the abundance of caution, we are preserving absolutely everything, and that's why you saw the DA's office as well. Again, just as precaution at every level of the government, there's an investigation going on.
What a very good question. I thank you for asking it. Let me just say as we conclude, I want to say a special thank you to all of the members of my team, our intergovernmental partners, and even our private sector partners, and of course, our family here at CHOP. Thank each and every one of you for your support and your collaboration and being together. You know, that's where we get the strength to meet this moment. And we'll report back to you tomorrow at the conclusion and close of our operations on that day. Thank you so much.